Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Bringing Division video. Today I want to go over the best weapon talents in my opinion in the game right now. Keep in mind I will be mentioning the normal talents, not the perfect versions of them. If you can get a perfect talent of the ones I will be mentioning in the video, even better for you. It's going to even benefit you a little bit more. But overall, this video is going to be based on the default talents for the weapons in the game. Also, I do want to say that some of these talents are only available for a specific category like LMGs or rifles. I will mention that in the video once I get to that talent, but again, I just wanted to make a video like this for any new players, returning players, or even veterans who are not really sure what to use on their weapons as of right now. So if you guys do enjoy the video or find it helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and let's get right into this. The first talent I do want to talk about is Breadbasket. Now what this talent does is landing body shots adds a stack of bonus plus 35% headshot damage to the next headshot for 10 seconds. Max stack is 3. Now in my opinion, this is a great talent to use on something like your rifles or your rifles to get a little bit more damage, especially if you are struggling doing a bit more damage in the game. The one problem I have with this talent, and I don't know if this happens to you guys as well, but for me, I feel like this talent kind of changes my playstyle and my gameplay in game. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like I always focus too much on body shots and then right away I want to go for the headshot damage so I could do a little bit more damage. Like yes, it's good because obviously you're using the talent to its potential, but for me I feel like it kind of distracts me instead of like staying alive and focusing on like surviving in the mission. If I'm doing like heroic missions or something, I focus too much on just hitting body shots and then right away going for headshots. So the one thing is, if you are going to use this talent, just play normal. Don't even worry about going for, body shots and then switching to headshots and then body shots and headshots. Just play normal, and this is where I think this talent works the best. Is if you don't really think about it, you just use it, you just play normal, go for normal NPC kills, and this will obviously increase your damage. Now moving on, the next talent I want to talk about is Killer. So Killer is a great talent in my opinion for kind of SMGs or just in general to use on kind of any build in the game right now. So what it does is killing an enemy with a critical hit grants 40% critical hit damage for 10 seconds. The reason why I would say this is good for SMGs is because obviously you get the extra critical hit chance, but how the game works right now and how viable kind of red builds are, you're going to have max crit chance or close to max crit chance anyway. So this is just an extra 40% critical hit damage if you are rocking like 50% crit chance or something like that, and you want the extra critical hit damage for the extra damage. This is something you can roll. Up next, I do want to talk about Preservation. So what this talent does is killing enemy repairs 10% armor over 5 seconds. Headshot kills improve the repair by an additional 10%. This is a great talent if you want a little bit more survivability on your build. The one thing is, I would recommend using this for maybe something like hard missions or challenging, because for heroic missions and even legendary missions, you're not going to be really killing enemies super quick, so it's not like you can stack this talent and keep getting the armor repair. Because if you're doing something like hard missions, obviously if you have a decent damage build, you are going to be killing enemies really quickly, and this talent can always kind of repair you and heal your armor. If you're doing legendaries, if you're doing heroic, obviously it's going to be a bit more challenging. It's going to be a little bit more time consuming to kill the enemies, so I don't think you're going to be getting kind of the full potential of this talent. And for missions like that, I would also recommend using something a little bit different, maybe for like damage or just overall something else that can help you. But if you are running hard, if you're running challenging, and if your build is not really optimized for those higher difficulty missions, this is once again a great talent to kind of help you stay alive, especially if you can hit headshots constantly. It's going to improve your healing of your armor by a lot. So overall, pretty good talent, but depending on the kind of enemy tiers you are fighting. The next talent on my list is Optimist, and what this one does is weapon damage is increased by plus 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine. This is a pretty good option to use on your rifles or your rifles if you are just going for damage for PvP or PvE. Pretty self-explanatory kind of talent. It will just give you extra weapon damage for firing it longer. So the more ammo you're missing in your magazine, the better weapon damage you will be getting from the talent. Now speaking of damage, the next talent I want to go over is Strained. So what this one does, and this one by the way in my opinion is probably one of the best talents in the game right now. If you can get it for anything, and if you are going for a damage build, this is something I would 100% recommend rocking. So what it does is gain plus 10% critical hit damage for every 0.5 seconds you are firing, stacks up to 5 times. So overall, you can get about 50% critical hit damage just from this talent, and if you're using something like a FAMAS, you can pretty much get the 5 stacks instantly. Like, if you are shooting an enemy, you're pretty much instantly going to get the extra 50% critical hit damage, which is very, very good. And as I said, the way the game is kind of set up right now, everything's about damage, everything's about crit chance, critical hit damage, headshot damage, and stuff like that. So if you're using a build for PvE or PvP, most likely it is a damage build, or most likely it is a kind of red build. So with a red build, you're already going to have crit chance on it if it's 30%, if it's 35%, if it's 40%. If it's something around that, just use this talent. It will really benefit you. Whenever you crit, you're getting, so much more damage from it. So overall, this talent is a must in my opinion if you are running a red build. If you're not, if you're going for a tank build or something like a utility build, yes, you can still use this talent for extra damage, but in my opinion, there are some better talents you can use to kind of help you out. Up next, we have Close and Personal, and for this one, killing a target within 7 meters grants plus 30% weapon damage for 10 seconds. This one's pretty good as well, especially if you are running a SMG build. Pretty good talent, Close and Personal, and if you can get a perfect version of this, it's going to be even better. But if you can't, if you have the normal talent, extra 30% weapon damage, pretty self-explanatory once again, for 10 seconds. You do have to be kind of close, and if you are doing more difficult missions like heroics or legendaries, sometimes being so close might be kind of a negative for you. Sometimes you might want to kind of stay back so you don't get, team shotted by the enemies. But if you are just running with a team and you guys are running through some challenging missions or even harder missions, something like Close and Personal will benefit you a lot with damage. Next up, I do want to talk about Fast Hands. So what this talent does is critical hits adds a stack of 4% reload speed bonus, max stack is 40. So as you guys know, right now in the game, I don't want to say the meta, but the majority of the builds are around LMGs, and for PvE, for PvP, this is a great talent because also LMGs are good because they have a lot of bullets in them, but they also take forever to reload, and with the way the game is right now, again, with the red builds, you're stacking critical hit chance, you're stacking critical hit damage, and this will just be another benefit for your LMG. If you already have a lot of critical hit chance, you will get the max stack of 40 every single time you are using this LMG. So to have an LMG with a lot of bullets and insane damage and also to reload it in a second or two is very, very strong. And if you are doing, again, heroic missions or legendaries, that's something you can't really pass up. Now for PvP, you might want to use something a little bit different. It really depends. But overall, for PvE at least, in my opinion, Fast Hands on LMGs is, I don't want to say a must, but it's really, really reliable, and it will save you a lot of time and a lot of frustrations because, again, LMGs, even the faster reloading ones, still take about 5 seconds to reload, and some of them are even longer. So if you are using a red build, if you are using a LMG, Fast Hands is something you definitely want to look into and potentially use on your build for the reload speed. Up next, I do want to mention Rifleman, and what this talent does is landing headshots adds a stack of bonus plus 10% damage for 5 seconds, max stack is 5, additional headshots, refresh the duration. Now if you are playing on PC, this can be a really good talent to use on your rifles for extra damage. Obviously you can stack this up to 5, and whenever you stack this, you're getting a 10% weapon damage increase for every stack for 5 seconds. So again, if you're doing a rifle kind of build for PvE, this is going to be a really nice talent for extra damage. Now, if you are on consoles, you might want to look into Lucky Shot. Now, this is the next talent I want to mention. Pretty much what it does is magazine capacity is increased by 20%. Missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. So yes, if you're on cover and you are pretty much missing your target with every bullet, none of those bullets are going to be consumed from the magazine. So you could sit there and spray pretty much unlimitedly, and you still have a maxed magazine of bullets. It's a really good talent, in my opinion, for console players because I do understand sometimes aiming and just having perfect accuracy, perfect kind of weapon control on consoles is a little bit difficult. For PC, it's a little bit easier, obviously, with a mouse and keyboard. But for consoles, something like Lucky Shot can really benefit you. And if you're just sitting behind cover and you want to do the maximum amount of DPS and pretty much hit every shot, Lucky Shot is going to help you with that. So again, if you're using a ARLD Holdings build, or if you're using something like a rifle build, a specific headshot damage build, Lucky Shot is going to be a talent that's going to be viable for marksman rifles and rifles on your build. Frenzy is the next talent I do want to mention, and this one is for LMGs. So what it does is for every 10 bullets in the magazine capacity, gain plus 3% rate of fire and plus 3% weapon damage for 5 seconds after reloading from empty. Now for LMGs, it is a really good talent. If you don't want to use fast hands, if you want to use something like Frenzy, it will really benefit you on those harder difficulty missions, because not only are you getting plus 3% weapon damage for every 10 bullets in the magazine, but you're also getting plus 3% rate of fire. So even if your LMG has slow rate of fire, for the next 5 seconds after you reload from empty, it's going to shoot like a SMG, it's going to shoot like a vector. So if you have a lot of damage, like weapon damage stacked on that build, plus you pair that up with Frenzy, you get the rate of fire and that additional weapon damage. You can kind of just imagine what kind of damage and what kind of stuff you'll be doing to NPCs, and it's really beneficial, especially for like those bosses, like those tanky bosses, because right now they are kind of spongy. So something like this will definitely help you out and kill them a little bit quicker, in my opinion. Would I sacrifice fast hands for this? That's honestly kind of up in the air. Fast hands is really good for the reload speed, but if you don't want to use fast hands, if you are okay with reloading, for 5 seconds or whatever, and you want to have a little bit more weapon damage and also the rate of fire, this is another talent for LMGs I would recommend using. And the final talent I do want to talk about is Finisher. Now Finisher is very good because it is going to provide you with extra 30% critical hit chance and critical hit damage. So pretty much how it works is swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 30% critical hit chance, 30% critical hit damage for 15 seconds. Now Finisher is a pistol talent, so you will have to kill the enemy or finish off the enemy with a pistol, and then you can switch to your primary and get the benefit of the crit chance and critical hit damage. Now you can get something like the Orbit. It is a named pistol. I think it's a revolver, and Orbit's really good as well, but sometimes it might be a little bit hard to find the Orbit. It pretty much works the same as Finisher, but Orbit is a little bit more powerful. So if you have the Orbit, if you want to play like that, if you want to switch weapons from your pistol to your primary to get extra crit chance and critical hit damage, you can, but Finisher is the talent that's pretty much available for everyone. So again, pretty good. It does kind of have to sink in with you of how to play, because sometimes it might be a little bit annoying to keep swapping weapons and going back to your pistol, finishing off an enemy and stuff. So it's not for everyone, but if you do like playing like that, if you are gonna get used to playing like that, you can really take benefit of the extra crit chance and critical hit damage, especially if you already have a lot of weapon damage, if you already have a lot of crit chance, critical hit damage stacked on your build. So if you pair that up with a Finisher pistol and you keep swapping, it's even going to increase your damage by that much more. So yeah, these are pretty much every weapon talent in the game I would recommend using. As of right now, things can change in the future. Obviously, with Division, things can get nerfed pretty soon, or some other things can get buffed. So, you really never know. But for now, for Warlords of New York or for TU8, these are the best weapon talents, in my opinion, that I would recommend using for PvP and PvE. So, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.